Another grouper. Nice fish. Todd 2?
He's close, man.
No. He's only like 21. Todd 2. Mike 0. Kevin 0.
Kevin's still tying knots over here.
As soon as he got to the bottom. I was on a white bait.
Was it?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to get a heavier weight.
Like I said, I've got a 3-ounce ball jig right here. Well, folks, what we're doing right now is we're actually using 3-ounce ball jigs simply because this tide is ripping out right now, and I'm waiting for it to slow down. I had to set way up off of the structure and drop back to it, and as soon as the bait's getting down to the bottom, at least for me, it's getting hit. I don't know what these two are doing over here, but anyway, when the tide's ripping like this, I typically don't like fishing for grouper and snapper, but if you have the heavy enough weights, like they were using knocker rigs, but then they switched because I was catching fish, but they switched, well, Mike switched, and he still hasn't caught anything. Kevin switched, but he hasn't fished yet, so we'll see what happens. But every time I'm getting down there, I'm getting bit, so I don't know what the issue is. Yeah, Kevin just asked me if I'm belly hooking them, and that might be a difference too. Mike, how do you have yours hooked? Nose. That could be the difference, because belly hooking them like this, we'll see. I'll drop down and we'll see what happens. Because we should all be hitting the same kind of structure, which is back behind the boat. It's a ledge. And if I don't get hit right away, what I'll do is I'll lift up my rod tip like this, and then I'll let out some more line, and then get to the bottom, and then wait for him to eat it. Now I won't get bit, watch. Now, right here.
Nice. Bang. Great fish. Great fish.
He doesn't like you. Remember that time Todd took us fishing and wouldn't let us catch any fish?
Terrible time.
Another good snapper.
So Todd's absolutely embarrassing us at the moment.
I didn't want to say anything.
I will. I'll step in and say it. Me and Mike are currently skunked, and Todd's got about 7 fish in the boat right now. I have no explanation for it. I blame Chad.
That's a beautiful fish. Oh, that would have been awesome.
Oh, I got it on camera.
No, if it went over.
Oh, no. I got it.
When you launched that lane snapper off the back of the boat?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
That was amazing.
Well, you gotta be kidding me. They went right across between the motors.
Come on, man.
That was on
That's
film
embarrassing.
too.
I'm like 5 or 6 up right now, folks.
Yeah, you are. Well, I mean,
I keep telling
all of
them,
us are on a
this is
skunk.
happening, this is happening, this is happening.
We're on.
I can teach until I'm blue in the face.
You can preach the lessons, right? But we have to listen to the lessons in order for
Well, you can even listen, but you've got to execute them. I keep telling y'all.
getting like a grouper.
Yep. Better get on him. He's gonna put you right in the rock. Yep.
He's got to be in the rocks.
Told you.
Oh,
Folks, that's when I explained getting on the fish. You got to get on him because he was swimming right towards the rocks.
20 pounds.
It's not the 20 pounds fault. That's called trying to play a fish and look like Mr. Suave over here.
I was trying to finesse them a little bit.
We call that worst case scenario.
For the TV audience.
No, you want to get on him. You see how fast I reel and how fast I get on it?
You can't see that, but
That has nothing to do with it, folks.
but
That was all fisherman air right
that
there.
was fisherman error. It was.
You finally get bit and you suck it up.
Felt good to get a bite. You guys haven't seen the hurting that Todd has been putting on us for this first hour of fishing or so. Case in point.
Son of a biscuit.
See, that's what he gets for messing with us and talking.
Talking trash. Talking trash.
So I guess all joking aside, the lesson here is if somebody's catching fish and you're not, copy what they're doing. Right? Don't feel bad about it.
You might want to put one of the gold diggers on.
Somebody had been working.
I'll try that next.
Do what they're doing. If it's not working, keep trying stuff different until you figure it out. Yeah, that thing got smacked.
All right.
That was on a little...
Coming from a guy that hasn't even caught a fish yet.
Yeah, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me.
Okay, it was funny because I just got hit again and Kevin's like, I want to play. And I'm like, well, come over to this spot. But then I started to explain to him that there was something that I noticed within the last 3 to 4 minutes is I was dropping my bait up here forward and then letting it go back, and it got to the ledge where it needed to get and was getting hit immediately. Well, the second to the last one I did, I dropped up here and it didn't get bit. So I lifted up my pole, dropped it back, lifted up my pole, dropped it back, and it got bit. So then that was telling me, okay, now this tide is starting to slow down ever so slowly. Even though it doesn't look like it on the surface, it's definitely slowing down. So then I dropped it behind the boat and it went out, and as soon as it got to the bottom, it got bit. So that's telling me that the tide is starting to slow up. So just little things like that make a huge difference. Or you could be a sucky fisherman. I don't know.
Not nice.
On him.
Ah! Oh.
He's having the worst time.
Oh, I'm so frustrated. I can't even tell you. Lord.
Oh!
Something different.
There's a lot of superstitions running around here.
This is the wonderful world of the fisherman.
Oh, come on, Mike. No? Yep. All right, folks, what happened is they turned off of whitebait and Kevin was getting hit on pinfish, smaller pinfish. We're hooking them right through the bottom like that and dropping them back. So having, as I say this all the time and I'm going to say it again, having somebody use something different, unless the bite is unbelievable and everybody's catching something on everything, then it's okay. But if one person is getting bit on a particular bait, you definitely want to switch to that bait, because they'll switch it up within a couple of minutes. They'll be biting everything and then all of a sudden they won't touch a particular bait. So you want to kind of pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to how he hooks it, because he keeps losing everything he hooks.
Tough crowd around here.
Tough crowd, tough crowd. I'm not one to speak. I've just lost one. But at least I'm not getting broke off.
And at least you're not skunked at this point.
Come on, Mike. I have a feeling Mike's gonna catch the biggest one.
Oh.
Usually it's the ones that struggle during the day typically are the ones that catch the biggest fish. What I'm going to start doing, folks, on these videos, on each video that we do that's a fishing video, I'm going to start doing a video log. And this is to help kind of everybody out there. So what we'll do is towards the end of the trip, we'll do a video log talking about the conditions for today. Like so far, we have overcast conditions. We have a low pressure system that's stalled above us. We have an outgoing tide right now. And then we'll get into the salooners and stuff like that. So I'll get very detailed on today's trip, on the conditions that we experienced through the trip. I want to do it at the end because, of course, we have to let the day play out and see what happens.
You trucked that thing.
Yeah.
Sure is.
That's a grouper.
Gag.
Oh yeah. That's a keeper.
It's close.
It's worth measuring right there.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Nice fish.
8-0.
First piece of cut bait.
Yes, I switched it up and went to cut bait. Oh, mic's on. Woohoo! Get on him. Oh.
That's that leader.
What was that on?
Pinfish.
Get him up. I'm so frustrated.
What happened there on Buck?
You know, I expected with that ringtone, I expected that to be twinkle tone.
Taking a break.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, edit.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is
Hey,
fishing.
what's happening?
That's
I'm
just-
on the phone. Todd's trying to do.
No, you're fine. Can you believe that? We're out fishing and he's on the phone. Mike's a lawyer and he's not even on the phone. Wow.
Sorta.
Sorta.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Would you have that fish?
That was cut bait.
Cut bait?
Yep.
Not a bad gag.
Best invention ever.
It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Best. People that have never stood on a bait table and hand chunked
Yeah, right?
a box of thread fins don't understand how nice it is.
Here we are catching little snapper and then Mike has to go hook this one. Not a bad gag.
Cut bait again?
Yep.
As soon as he got to the bottom, he was on it.
Guys are starting to redeem themselves a little bit.
A little bit. Then we go and get him. Ooh, I like that sound.
Let's see if he's learned any lessons. There's gag. There you go.
That should keep.
No. Oh, son of a biscuit.
Come on, man.
You're not allowed to say that to the host.
It's my boat. You can't say that.
Beautiful.
Hold him up to the camera just a little bit closer.
Here, let me long arm him for you. Look at this thing.
Oh, my
Doesn't even fit in the shot.
Is that worth measuring?
No.
Well, folks, you hear me talk about it all the time, talking about, you know, getting that tide to slow down. And this tide is slowed way down. Oh. And sure enough, I'm pretty sure we're in the middle of a minor feeding time. And this tide slowed down enough to where we can get the baits to the bottom pretty easily. And these fish are on it like there's no tomorrow. I've actually dropped to a 3/8 ounce. They're still using quarters, and we're getting hammered left and right. So it is important that those slower tides are key to, even though we caught fish. Well, I caught fish. Oh,
That's what you get.
That's right.
I think that was a mackerel.
Oh.
Yeah. But so even though we were catching fish on the moving tide, when this tide slacked off is when they really started to feed. But then again, we're in the middle of a minor feeding time, so that makes a big difference.
Shrank.
Don't be just short.
That would have been another hose if we had one.
Well guys, if you don't recognize this guy to my left, that's Mike with Levin Law Group. And I know some of you are probably thinking, why in the world does Todd have a law, and they're mainly injury law firm, but they do a lot of they have a lot of different lawyers that do a lot of different things, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So one of the things when we started talking a long time ago, I was talking about how the laws are ever changing with the FWC and them changing, you know, shortening this season or closing this season, all this other stuff. And it's almost nearly impossible. I mean, like next year, gag grouper season is not opening until September. Red grouper is closed. They've closed the amberjack. I can't even tell you what's open, what's closed. And I'm pretty on top. I try to stay on top of it. But with having Mike and his firm on board with us, what's nice is that if you were to get in trouble, which I hope you don't, you know who to call. They're fishermen, they're outdoorsmen. Mike and I have become very good friends, and it was funny because this morning I was traveling to here to the office, and somebody dead pulled right out in front of me. If I wasn't really paying attention, I would have ran right up the back of him. And I told Mike, I said, I almost needed your services this morning. But so Mike, what's kind of going on with the firm? What are you guys doing now? And
So we do real estate, you know, whether it's you're buying a house, you're selling a house. We do probate, you know, wills. If you have a family member that you know, that passes away and you need to deal with all that, we do probate, wills, estates, trusts, all that fun stuff. Mostly what I do is I think this just died.
No, it's just the screen goes off.
Mostly what I do is car accident and slip and falls, personal injury. We do a lot of that. We do, you know, what we call consumer law, which is like bankruptcy, distressed debt. If people are blowing up your phone, debt collectors, that kind of stuff, we help keep them off your back. And really any legal need that you have, give me a call. If you've got a question, I'll answer it. If I can't answer it, I'll know somebody who can. And we can get you in touch with somebody who can help you out. And hopefully we can help you out ourselves. But you know, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Yeah, and I'll have his contact information below. And like I've stated in our videos before, we're trying to grow a community of people that feel like they belong to something, and not just, and we were talking about this earlier, not just, you know, him being a sponsor and me taking his money and not doing anything. We want to build a community, so if something like that, if you need a lawyer, he's a perfect person to go to. Just like if you need a mortgage, we have Ian Anderson, the mortgage fisherman. He started out on his own now. He's got his own firm. Then we have Kevin over here, which I'll get with him in just a minute. Reef and Reel has been a huge supporter of ours. We've also got Sunray Marine, huge supporter of ours. So we're trying to build that community. And you know, some people have asked me what's with the law firm, and then when I explain it to them, then they get a full understanding. Because when Mike and I first met and he introduced himself and he said that he was interested, I was kind of like, Mike, I got to be honest with you, I don't know if there's a fit. And then we talked about it, and then I called him, and we sat down and we talked about it, and I thought, okay, now it makes sense, because you have supported and you have defended boaters before.
Absolutely.
And fishermen. So
Yep.
if you need a lawyer, please call 11 Law Group. I know, you know, I don't do this very often, and there's a reason why. It's because I don't want to inundate you guys with this stuff, but at the same time, I want you to support the people that support us. And so it's a very important thing to me. So that's why we're out here, and they get the opportunity to come out and try to fish.
Feed the fish.
No, they've done better in the afternoon or later in the morning when we were going through that minor feeding time. And so I'm going to get back to fishing, because neither one of these guys are. Mike caught a fish. Kevin hasn't caught a fish here, so I don't know. But the bite is weird, and I'm going to do the logbook at the very end of the show and talking about our conditions. I thought with this rain coming through, these fish were going to put on the feed bag, but they haven't. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The tide turn has started coming in, and sometimes that's it. Sometimes one tide is much better than the other. And again, that's why I want to keep that logbook. Well, at least Mike is making up for something. I mean, he caught this rare black grouper that we don't catch very many of in the bay, but he's not the biggest, but he's a rarity. That's pretty cool.
Attaboy.
Woo! Nice fish.
Nice fish.
Redemption.
That is redemption. Nice fish. Great job.
I told you it was a gag.
Woo! He went right
big
for the
ones
now
like
we know where the ledge is.
Like to run right to the ledge.
Who says there aren't keeper gags in the bay? All right.
Good job. Great job. All right, it was funny because we came to the spot, we caught a couple of gags, but then it's just the bite has been off. So what I did is I told the guys, I said, I'm going to change it up a little bit. So I went to a 1/2 ounce Huggy, or not Huggy, but Stewie. I have not used the Stewie in a while. That should tell you something right there. And as soon as I put it in there, bam, I got a fit, or got hit again. And so changing it up again is key. It's key, because if something's not working, you know that there's fish down there. Try different things, try different styles of jigs. That's why we make as many as we do, is because
That was perfect.
You
Right
bet.
in your background, Tom.
get off of my space, man.
Sorry, he came over to you.
There's another snapper. That's a nice snapper.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Come here, buddy.
But see, now Kevin, he's making me look bad because I'm talking about using Stewie's, and he's using a 1/4 ounce Huggy with what, cut bait?
Yeah, the cup bait.
Yeah.
Cup bait.
Again, so change it. Did I catch you? No.
Fish at you.
Look at these amateurs. But anyway,
Trying to interrupt this video. I succeeded.
he wants to be on camera. I'm gonna have him host it one day.
I'll host.
You'll host?
I'd be happy to.
That's Kevin from Reef and Reel. So Kevin, we just did the ladies seminar the other day, or a couple weeks ago. That actually turned out very well.
It's incredible.
I was shocked at how many women like to fish.
That was amazing.
It was crazy.
amazing. Incredible turnout.
And there was women coming up to me that had come from like Sefner and all over the place. So it was really cool to kind of see that, and the interaction was very good. They were actually better at asking questions than guys were.
They didn't hesitate. That's
No,
for sure.
they didn't, which is good. I
It
love
was
when
good.
people ask questions.
Yep.
So that wasn't one event that you had going on. You also, right now, you have a sale going on through September 18th, this Sunday, right?
Yep.
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 So what does that sale entail?
So we have tons of great deals going on the Reef and Reel apparel, all the way up to 50% off on certain styles, certain sizes. We have some really good deals in the store as far as tackle, some great deals on Penn, some great deals on Savage, some great deals on a bunch of different things. Pop in and check us out. Check it out online as well at reefandreel.com. You can see all that kind of stuff as well. And then also, piggybacking off of what Todd said with the ladies event, which again, to reiterate, was amazing. thank you all for coming out. Saturday, October 1st, we're going to be having a kids day over at the store. It's going to be from 10 to 4 at the Reef and Reel store on Tyrone Boulevard in St. Pete. We're going to have games, we're going to have prizes, we're going to have raffles, all kinds of stuff for the kids. We're going to have a little fishing pool for them. We're going to have a casting contest for them. And for the little ones, the real little ones that don't know how to cast, we're going to teach them how to cast with some little starter Zepcos and stuff like that. So it should be a good day. If you guys are in the area, Saturday, October 1st, stop on out at Reef and Reel store and check it out. It should be a good time.
I'm going to be dressed as a clown.
You can dress up as Reefy. We need a mascot. We do have
I used to
Reefy.
be a mascot.
Oh yeah?
For a hockey team.
We have Reefy the mascot for Reef and Reel. Oh yeah, so Reefy will be there. You're gonna have to check the website for the times, but Reefy will be there taking pictures with the kids and doing some face painting and stuff like that. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. No, I used to be a giant raccoon.
Oh, perfect.
My head was about this big.
Still is. See what I did there?
And it was always something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a mascot. All right, folks, let's get into the logbook for this week. The conditions that we had mostly for today were overcast and occasional rain showers, and that caused the fish to really go off in the morning, especially on the outgoing tide. We had two tides today, one outgoing till about 11:30, and then it started coming in at about 1 o'clock, 1:30. That outgoing tide was the best tide that we had for fishing. The incoming tide really didn't produce very much at all. It produced a couple of fish, but it was the outgoing tide that did very well. And that outgoing tide, the very end of it, coincided with a minor feeding time from 10:50 to 11:50 a.m. And the flurry of fish that we had was right in that minor feeding time. As the rain started, the tide slacked off, the minor feeding time started happening. So it was a great bite, but the outgoing tide was the best in this situation. We had that overcast with that frontal system that is stalled over us, so it kind of put everything together just right. So we had a really good time on the boat today, and hopefully these logs are going to help you in the future. So again, we had an outgoing tide till about 11:30. Then we had the major feeding time, or the minor feeding time, from 10:50 to 11:50 a.m. That coincided with the end of the outgoing. And then the weather conditions, the wind was light until the storms came in, then it picked up a little bit, but it wasn't bad. We had overcast skies with occasional rain showers, but in the afternoon, as you can see, it got bright, and I think that could have also affected the bite a little bit. But the morning bite was excellent. So that's the fishing log for this week, and hopefully this will help you in the future maybe keep a log for yourself so you have a better understanding of what's going on. Well, folks, that was a fun day. Somebody caught a bunch of fish. But it was fun. As I explained in the logbook, the best tide that we had was the outgoing tide. They were biting through that tide and through that minor feeding time. We had a flurry there. It was raining. Everything was setting up. So we caught a lot of fish. Caught a lot of short grouper. But that just, sometimes that was the way it happens. We got the one keeper gag. We caught some at 22 and a half. Things like that. Kevin, are you going to come over here?
Well,
or are you just going to stand back in the shadows?
I didn't want to rudely interrupt.
No, you're fine. But anyway, I want to say thank you to Kevin and Mike. Kevin with Reef and Reel, Mike with Levin Law Group. So if you're looking for a tackle shop to go to, especially in St. Pete, you can hit them up. What's your address?
It's 3350 Tyrone Boulevard North.
It's right next to the Tyrone Mall, right?
Yeah, it's down a little bit down the street from the
down.
Tyrone Mall, right next to the Joint and Harold Filter Steakhouse.
Okay.
Right there.
And then Mike with Levin Law Group, I appreciate you coming out again. Always a
Always a
blast.
good time.
Yeah, we always have a blast. So if you guys are looking for a lawyer, from everything from business to family to injury to if you stole something and you got caught, which I hope you don't do that, you can call them. He'll take care of you. But anyway, I want to say thank you very much for watching. Support these people that support us. Fish more, catch more, and we'll see you on the flip side.